People on. Yay! I'm so excited, you guys.
We are recording.
Perfect. Okay, so for those of you who do not know me, I'm Rachelle Coakley. I'm a presidential diamond. Haley and I actually just got the pleasure of meeting through social media. We're in Instagram pod together, and she reached out to me a couple weeks ago now, and we just really hit it off, and I'm just so excited to be doing this Zoom for you guys. Brian's here too. He's gonna he'll be here and probably hop in on some parts of our story too. And he always keeps my thought process going, because sometimes it just I'll just lose my train of thought, you guys, but I'll try to keep it together tonight. So I wanted to start with my story. Some of my team is on here. You guys kind of already know my story, but there are a lot of people that don't. So this Zoom is going to be all about overcoming obstacles, overcoming objections, and how to really break through any type of unworthiness or any type of kind of being stuck in your business. Okay, so make sure that you have a pen and paper. This is going to be so stinking good. So just a little bit about me. I started 3 years ago, actually exactly 3 years ago. On August 31st, I started my business in 2016. I started to make $200 extra per month. That's all I needed. I had so much credit card debt. It was not even funny. And I just wanted to make that minimum payment on my credit card. And so Brian and I had just started dating. I dove right in. Here's the thing. I dove right in, but here's what's really funny. I didn't sign my first loyal customer for 3 weeks, you guys. So just know that even top income earners, sometimes they don't go diamond in 30 days. You know what I'm saying? So it took me 3 weeks to sign my first loyal customer. It took me 6 months to promote to executive. It took me 6 months to promote to executive. That is 2 people on your team. Okay. I went to conference that year. We went to Tampa for the big conference in February, and it changed everything for me. I learned what self-development was. I learned just really what I had been missing out on for 6 months. You guys, I was just doing everything. I was putting in the work. I was doing everything that I was supposed to be doing, yet I only had 2 people on my team and they weren't working. And conference just really opened my eyes to the one thing that I wasn't doing, which was personal development. I wasn't growing as a person. I wasn't doing anything that was really helping me become better. Okay. So I came home from conference. They had announced a $10,000 bonus for anybody who hit the diamond rank. I went from executive to diamond in 45 days, and I earned that $10,000 bonus. So, and I wasn't boxed for diamond. This is really important for you guys to know. I literally had 2 people on my team. That is it. And this is back in the day when the diamond chart was actually 24 people. Okay. So I needed 24 people. 22, right? Because I had 2 on my team. So I needed 22 people and a heck of a lot in volume. And we came home and I got it done. And the only thing that changed was the belief in myself and watching everybody at an event, at conference. I watched everybody there be somebody that was just like me. So I think that's really important, is we see all these people and we kind of put them into this category as well, I could never do that. How could I be like them, or how could I be where they're at? When in reality, 3 years ago, you guys, I was driving over an hour and a half to work to go to a sucky job that I absolutely hated as an office manager. I was going to school to be an accountant. There was nothing different about me. There was nothing different about me. The only thing that's different is that I decided that I didn't want to do that anymore, and I got to it. Okay. So executive to diamond in 45 days. I stayed diamond for 10 months. A very, very strong diamond, literally almost double diamond volume. Okay. So I was a very strong diamond for 10 months. I was pushing and pushing and pushing for double, but it just wasn't happening. I was actually able to come home and quit my job when I went diamond. So just backtracking a little bit there. And I found out I was pregnant right after I came home from my job. Okay. So then fast forward 20 weeks. I'm 20 weeks pregnant. It's December. Okay. All of a sudden, for whatever reason, our volume drops and I am no longer paid at the diamond rank. Okay. I was paid as a ruby in December of 2017. 2017. The reason why I'm telling you this, if you guys are new, please don't be afraid of what I am saying. Listen to what I am saying, because I have been where you are. I have been brand new. I have been a diamond and gone back and paid as ruby and all the way up to presidential. So just don't let any of this scare you. This is just a part of my story that I really want to share, because I think it's really important for overcoming all of the obstacles in your business. So went diamond, strong diamond. What happened, right? What happened? So I was 20 weeks pregnant. My little brother, who is like my absolute best friend, was in a really, really bad car accident. And somebody that was in the vehicle, and I'm not going to go into the entire story because it would literally take all night, but somebody that was in the vehicle with him died. Okay, so it was a very tragic event, and my little brother immediately went to jail. Like I said, there's a lot more to the story, but basically our whole entire world got completely turned upside down, and my little brother was facing 6.5 years in prison. Okay. So I literally raised him. We did not have a mom. I come from a single father who raised us. And so my little brother is like I raised him. Okay. So hearing this news, finding this out at 20 weeks pregnant, I literally could not get off the floor. I wanted to throw up. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. It was one of the most painful things that has ever happened to our family. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I completely stopped anything and everything related to my business. Number one, because my brother was all over the news, and it was really hard for me to be posting things about my business and how incredible my life was when I was getting messages from friends from high school asking if my brother was in jail and certain things like this. Okay. So you may not have gone through anything like this in your business, but it's important that I tell you this, because this is what changed for me. So, I was paid as a ruby that month. We had to get my brother out of jail. Okay. So before he ever faces prison time, if you guys have ever had anybody go through this or know anybody that went through this or anything like that, they have trials. Okay. So you get them out of jail, and then there's like a trial, like literally it can take up to a year. So we're talking to my dad, and we're getting a lawyer and all of these things. And right the day before Christmas, we were able to get my brother out of jail. And I'm telling you this because my dad looked at me, and, I'm like making all this money and everything's great, and I have this huge savings, and I was able to quit my job. And it was going to be $11,000 to get my brother out of jail. It's going to be $11,000. And that was just 10%, because you have to have 10% cash. Okay. And I literally wanted to just drain everything that I had ever worked for. I wanted to drain my savings. And that's where B came in. Like, I'm 20 weeks pregnant. I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping. All I wanted to do was just take care of my family. And B's like, you can't drain your savings. Like, you can't do this. Like, we have a family on the way. Like, you can't do this. And so this was like a turning point for me. And you might be saying, like, why are you telling me all this? Like, trust me, there's a point. So this was like the biggest turning point in my business for me. I decided that I would never, ever be in a position again that I couldn't get my family out of something that was this tragic. Like, out of something that happened that I was like torn with, do I drain my savings in order to help my family, and not have any money and have to go back to work? Or like, I wasn't going to allow myself to ever be in that position again. I wanted to be in a position that we're in now, to look at my dad and be like, oh, $11,000, done. I got it. I got you. Like, no problems at all here. And I didn't, like, my dad has done everything for us. So it was just like such a big deal for me. We ended up getting him out. My dad had to put it on credit cards. Like, it was just like the saddest thing ever. Okay. So then what happened in the next 3 months of my business was that I decided I'd never be there again. Being paid as a ruby, going into January, I got my diamond rank back in January. I kept my diamond rank in February and we promoted to double in March. Okay. And Brian was my diamond. So we earned 30,000 in bonuses, I believe 10 and 20, I think, or 10 and 15. It might've been 25,000, but anyways, and I just decided that no matter what, like we were never going to go back there. So we still weren't out of the woods. My brother didn't go to trial for a whole year. And as the bills started coming in, I had just gone triple in Prez. So literally as all of the bills started coming in for the lawyers, for like everything that you could ever imagine with all of these court cases, I was literally able to help my dad pay for cash all of the things that were coming in. And it was because I had something happen in my life that I decided I would never, ever have anything else put me in that position. Now, you might not be in that position. You might not have anything in your life that is like tugging at you, or a catastrophic event or anything that really like brought you to the knees. But I challenge you to find out what that is. What if something like that happened to you? What if someone in your family got sick? What if someone, needed money? What if you needed an emergency fund? What if you had an unexpected medical bill? Whatever it may be, are you prepared for that? Because I think it's really easy for us to be like, okay, well, like I'm getting there, like I will promote, like I'm going to make sure that I get there eventually. But we don't think about the things that could happen that could derail us. And that's where that fire comes in. Okay. That's where that fire comes in that you need to propel yourself forward, and you shift from that maintaining mindset into that I'm going to promote no matter what, even if you're not maintaining. You guys know what I'm saying? So I want you to like write down tonight, like, what are those emergency evacuation plans? Like, what do you have that you like, okay, if this happened, we could take care of this. Like, could you pay off your vehicle in full if something happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, work towards that. Whatever it is, make sure that you're working towards something. That just, I don't even know if I'm making sense, but just make sure that you're working towards something that you can really hang on to and look back at when you're getting discouraged. That's your biggest thing. Because for me, now we're through the woods. Now, my little brother is serving time right now. He did only get 2 years, so he'll be out in a year. Thank God. Everything went as good as it possibly could have in a really awful, terrible situation. But now we're in a position that if anything like that were to happen ever again, or if a family member were to be in trouble, like, I know that looking back at that, like, I'll never put myself in that position again. You gonna say something? Okay. So now I am going to back up just a little bit, because I kind of like we went triple in Prez and blah, 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 blah. What happened at double? What happened at double for me was a whole lot of unworthiness. Like unworthiness that I never ever have experienced in my entire life. Like I said before, I didn't really come from a lot of money. So, making almost actually over $10,000 a month as both of us being doubles, I didn't feel that I was worthy of that. In fact, I'll never forget, I went double, and then Brian went double right after Huntley was born, right after our daughter was born, and Brian got to come home. And I remember having one of those paychecks hit our account, and I was like, B, like, I don't want any more. And you guys, I'm just transparent. So some of you might be like rolling your eyes, like, are you freaking kidding me? $10,000 a month? Like, hear me out. I thought that was stupid money. I thought that was that is so much money. It is stupid. Okay. That is how I felt. And I felt that way because I didn't feel worthy of that money. I didn't feel like I deserved it. What in the world? Why me? Why me? Like, I don't okay, making like $4,000 a month, like that was cool. Like making $4,000 a month from your cell phone, like that's pretty awesome. Making $10,000 a month, like, no, I'm just Rachelle. Like, I'm not anybody special. Like, why is this happening? And so you might not be in that season of your life right now, but I think it's really important to talk about, because you might feel that way at $2,000 a month. You might feel that way at $5,000 a month. And I think that's so important that you guys understand that it's always going to be different and nobody is the same. Nobody has the same money blueprint. Nobody has the same mindset. And for me, I battled and stayed awake at night because I was like, how am I ever going to go triple? How am I ever going to go to that rank if I can't get over making more money? Like triple means more money. Triple means leading a team of like, I'm just not worthy of that. And I don't know if any of you have ever felt that way, but for me, it was internal. It was something that I had to work through. It was a lot of prayer. It was a lot of tears. It was a lot of venting to Brian every single night of just like, why is this happening? Like, how do I control it? I was a new mom and I didn't know how to work my business in a healthy way. So like I literally wasn't sleeping like at all ever. Like it was just because I just have to work. I have to work. I have to work. I can't lose what I have. But then I was battling that paycheck going up. I was battling that. I didn't feel that I deserved it. And so you might be wondering like, well, how did like, okay, like what's the secret? Like what, like how did you get over that? And for me, it was, like I said, it was like this internal battle. It was me writing down every single day what I was grateful for. It was me really trying to realize like how many lives on my team I had changed. How many girls were going to go double and triple and diamond and ruby and how many girls' lives were going to be impacted because of my paycheck going up. Okay. It wasn't me wanting or needing that money. It wasn't about the money. It became about my team and what double meant for us was him coming home. So like, what could double mean for somebody on my team? You know what I mean? And when I started that shift of like, I'm going to help them make $10,000 a month. I'm going to help them do this and come home and bring their hubbies home and stay home with their babies. Like when it came about that, or when it became about that, it became so much more to me. And I actually had like a whole new fire and it didn't matter what else was happening. I also really dove in and started doing devotionals every single day. Like they were like a non-negotiable for me. I would read my devotionals with my team every single day on a Zoom. And then we would talk about what was working for me, what was working for them. And we just had like this really huge team oriented, like camaraderie. You know, we just like, we just had a better connection than we had ever had. And so it was really easy for me then to kind of get over that fear. And really that's what it was. It wasn't unworthiness. It was the devil trying to tell me that I wasn't good enough to lead this team. It was the devil trying to tell me that I wasn't worthy of more, when really I firmly believe that this is my calling. Like I firmly believe that leading people from the front and leading people to the Lord and leading people to this business and this freedom that we have, like that is what I am made for. So no amount of dollar amount can like scare me when it comes to that. So now, growth, I think it was massive growth. It was me putting my nose in so many books and listening to so many podcasts and so many YouTube trainings. And if I wanted to be, you know, where other leaders were, then I needed to be doing what other leaders were doing. And that's what I did. I dove in and I put my blinders on and I decided that we were worthy of more. And I wrote it on every freaking mirror in our house, you guys. I wrote $20,000 a month on every single mirror in my house, not because I wanted to make $20,000 a month, because I was struggling with making that $10,000, right? So it was almost like I was overcoming the money fear by putting up the 20,000, like I'm worthy of that. Like I'm worthy of that amount of money. But what it was showing me that like I'm moving forward. I am not going to stay stagnant here. I am moving forward so that I can bring my teammates with me, so that I can help my team continue to promote. So, I think that was like a huge part of it, is just like writing it, speaking it. I am worthy. I am so worthy of more. And saying it out loud every single day. That is, and reading and doing all of your self-development. You guys, like personal development is, I always say this, and I don't even know where I got it because I'm 100% positive I did not make this up, but I always say this on like every single Zoom. This business is 80% mindset and 20% work. I wholeheartedly believe that. If your mindset is not right, you will not be able to do your work. You will not be able to be income producing, and you will not be able to pour into your team if your mind is not right. So there may be days where you feel down in the dumps. There may be days where you feel like you just kind of want to like not even think about working. Those are the days for growth. Those are the days that you put on literally like a podcast or a book, or you sit in your bed and you sip your keto coffee and you read with your phone in the other room plugged in. Like those are the days that sometimes you might not want to be responding to people. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? You got to get your mind right. You have to take care of you. You have to fill your cup. And I think that was the shift for me from going from a double to a VIP leader. Okay, that was that shift of being worthy to pour into these people, because for the longest time I wasn't pouring into myself. So that was the biggest thing for me. Haley, do you have anything that you want to like hop in and add? I want to hear a little bit from you. Like I know that your team knows you, but I want you to introduce yourself, tell us how long you've been in the business, and like a little bit about you and what It Works has done for you. And then I wanted to see if you had anything to like add into here before I keep blabbering.
Well, I'm like almost crying. It's just, I don't know, just like listening to you talking about all of that. So I'm like emotional, but anyways, if you don't know me, I am Haley Price. I'm a double diamond. And I've been in the business for 4 years. Last month was my 4-year anniversary. So I joined on July 7th of 2015. And this business has done so many things for me over the past 4 years. When I joined this business, I was still in college, and my husband and I had gotten married like 2 or 3 weeks before I joined, and we were living in his parents' basement because at that point we literally like could not afford apartment rent. Like we could not afford to get our own place, which was just like the most embarrassing thing being newly married. So luckily his parents had a basement. We moved into there, and I found this business on Facebook and literally made it like my life's mission to get out of that basement, like whatever it took. So I was going to school full time. I was in my senior year, and I was taking like 1 million hours because I like changed my major, and I was trying to graduate on time and all of that mess. And, you know, at that point I was not sleeping much either. So I related to that part of your story because literally like I was just obsessed with making money from this business because, you know, I wanted a house so bad. So anyways, I worked really, really hard. I went double diamond in 8 months from joining, and my husband went diamond. And so like February I went diamond, he went emerald, and then March I went double and he went diamond, and we earned like $72,000 in good bonuses, I think it was. Yay. At the beginning of 2016. So a couple months later is when I was graduating. So like the week after I graduated, we closed on our house. So we bought an even nicer house than like we ever expected for our starter home because we saved up almost $30,000 in those first 10 months of me being in this business. So we bought our house, and at that point I was very like undecided what I wanted to do. Like I was not passionate about what I was getting my degree in, and I kind of was lost, you know, like I was just going to college because like that's what you're supposed to do to get a good job. So I didn't really know what that job was going to be. So when I experienced all that success, and after I went double diamond, I decided that I was going to just do this full time and not get a job with my degree. And so that was like 3.5 years ago almost. And I've never worked another job outside of this business since then. So I've been able to be a stay-at-home dog mom. I don't have human children yet, but if you know me, I'm like hardcore obsessed with my dog. So I bought a brand new car, paid it off in 18 months. My husband actually was working at a paper mill, and he was working like swing shift 1,000,000 hours a week, and he absolutely hated it. And he decided that he wanted to go back to school. So we paid cash for him to finish his bachelor's, and now he's in his master's, and we're paying cash for that. And he just became a teacher a few weeks ago. And I truly don't think that any of that would have happened if it weren't for this business, because through this business, I have really just learned how to dream, and really grown that belief that, you know, you can do anything, you can be anything, you can have anything. And I feel like I really have passed that along to my husband. So I think me being in this business gave him, first of all, just the belief that he could follow his dream. And then obviously having the finances to pay for it and not have to go into debt and all of that good stuff. So those are kind of like the big main things that this business has done for me. But I definitely relate to you in so many ways. Like, our stories are, you know, quite different, but I relate to you so much as far as when I went double diamond and he went diamond, and we were making like $7,000 a month together with this business. I had that same, like, oh my gosh, like, why am I making this much money? Like, I was making more money per month than anyone like in my entire family had ever made. And I just started struggling a lot with, like, who am I? I'm not good enough. I'm unworthy. Like, I struggled with, you know, seeing my own value and feeling like I could lead like so many people to such a high level. And that is truly why I feel like I have not gotten to triple diamond yet, because I've never stopped working a day in my business. And, you know, I've been able to make an amazing full-time income, but I'm just like so ready for more and so ready to take my team to the next level. And, you know, you were talking about that, moving forward and bringing your team and helping them. And like, that's what it's becoming for me. And that's what I'm really excited about. And I know that together we are going to get to the next level. So those are just my thoughts.
I love it. It's so exciting. And I think one of my favorite parts about your story, which is probably like your least favorite part, is that you shared that you stayed, or that you lived in a basement, like when you first got married. And I remember we were talking about this before we decided to do this Zoom. And I was like, Haley, like, I've never seen you talk about that. Like, do you talk about that? And I think it's so important, because it's like, for me, hearing that, I'm like, dang, look how far you have come. Like, look how far you have come. And I think that right there shows the amount of worthiness that you do have. You decided that you weren't going to be in that basement anymore, and that you wanted more for your husband, and you wanted more for yourself. And that right there shows so much about you and how worthy you are of that. So just remember that, like, remember how far that you have come. And it's hard for us to do that. Like, it's so hard for us to do that, especially when we feel like, you know, like, why us? Why are we special? You know, but it's all in your head, and it's all in your mind, and it's all about what you decide to do with it. And I've got one of my doubles on my team actually shared something with me like recently, that she took down everybody on her team. She took screenshots of them, and she took down everybody's why. Like, why, what would this rank do for you? Like, what would this paycheck do for you? And yes, I'm talking about you, Alexa. I just saw her eye emojis pop up. She took all their whys, and she put them on her screen on her phone. Like, she saved them. Like, this girl, here's what double would mean for her. Here's what diamond would mean for her. And here's what this would do for their family. Here's what, like, all of these things. And she looks at this every single day, and it literally, like, it changed everything for her. It changed everything, because it wasn't about her anymore. It was all about her team. And now when she feels tired, like, I can't even talk, like, I'm tired, I'm not going to message tonight. Oh, like, there's all my teammates, and look at what this will do for them. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I think it's like this, it really is. It can't just be like, oh, I'm in this for my team. It's got to be that real shift of like, I genuinely care about so-and-so retiring their husband or whatever. And I also loved what you said, Haley, about you got to show your husband how to dream. That like resonated with me so much, because for B, He comes from a family who, okay, so they grew up here in Florida. They moved themselves over to Oregon, and they started a hardwood floor company. And it's been in business for 35 years. Incredible hardwood floor company. Literally, like they are one of the most known in Portland, Oregon. Like, they're incredible, right? But they are very, what's the word? Like, stuck in their ways. Not in a bad way, just like old school. They're stuck in their ways. That is what Brian was going to do. That is what the sons do. They take over their business, and that was what he did since like 16 years old, right? So like for 15 years, he worked for his parents thinking that that's all that there was for him. Not that would have been a bad path, but that wasn't his path. And I think that it's so important that like we got together and I got to show him like, wait a second. If you got to do like anything in the world, like anything, like what would you want to do? Well, he wanted to do like real estate or, like investing, like real estate investing. That's something he's always been interested in. And so we started talking about that, and he wanted to flip some houses, and he wanted to do this and he wanted to do that. But he was so busy working that it wasn't something that he could ever do. Like, he had to pay the bills. Like, you can't, like, he worked and it was like a family owned business. So what do? Do you tell your parents no? And like, I want to do something else? Like, that wasn't really, he just never was challenged in that way. He was never challenged to, what do you want to do? Because it was never an option. And so you guys, like, maybe you're not there yet, but think of that. When you're sitting there, like, where is my breakthrough? What am I supposed to do? And when you're praying for God to like bring you these people in your business, I heard this the other day. I'm so terrible at remembering things, you guys, but I don't even remember who said it, but somebody said, you got to pray them in and you got to pray them out. Okay. Here's what I mean by that. You're praying in for these people to come into your business. And if you're on this Zoom and I like took this out of your mouth, say something in the chats. Cause was it Jeree? Oh, JK. It was Jeree Kneller. I'll give her credit. Brian remembers everything. We went to lunch with them back in Tennessee. And she goes, you got to pray them in and you got to pray them out. And what that means is you pray for them, you bring them in, bring me all of these people that need this business, that need my guidance, that need my leadership, that need to make an extra income. But you also have to pray them out. The ones that do not want this, the ones that do not want to be in this, the ones that are, that this just isn't their path, it's okay. It's okay if it's not for them. Stop hanging on so tight that you just don't want to lose them because you don't even know why. Like you never want to lose anybody in your business. But my point is that there are going to be times where this business isn't for somebody that is on your team, and that is okay. And when you pray for God to bring these people into your business, you have to be ready. Or actually, when you pray for him to boom your business, like, I don't know, there was another Zoom by, I think it was Morgan Martin. She was saying like, when you pray for your business to explode and then it starts like crumbling below you, it's because God is answering your prayers. He has to crumble sometimes. He has to take things down. He has to reshift things in order for your business to explode. Okay? So just remember that. Like, remember that. You have to trust. You have to trust that your journey is going to get you to your destination. But that journey is not going to look like this. Y'all, success does not look like this. We all know that. Success looks like crazy. Like, success looks like late nights and keto coffee at 10 p.m. because that's what we got to do sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And just know that, like, no matter what, if you trust that you will get there, if you know that you are not quitting, if you know that, like, come hell or high water, eventually someday you will be black diamond and maybe you're not even ruby yet, but talk, walk, work like a black diamond. Stephanie and Joel Dunn, y'all, like, Stephanie still enrolls 10 DTs every single month. She is still in the front row at every single training. She is still growing. That is the kind of person that I want to be like. That is the kind of person that I want to work like. Okay, so if you're sitting here like, I'm doing everything that I am possibly supposed to be doing, I am working 24/7, but are you? If you're working 24/7 and you're not promoting, then what are you doing? Start writing down what you're doing, because it might not be income producing activities. There are times where I have to check myself and be like, okay, like I've been working my butt off and I haven't signed an LC all week. Like, why haven't I signed an LC? And then I'll go back and I'll start looking through my messages and I'm like, oh, thought I sent out like 100 last night, but I only sent out like, but I only sent out like 40. So like, that's on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you actually doing the work? And don't just like feel like you're doing the work because you got caught in a scroll hole and you're like, oh, I was working all day, but what did you do? Was like, I have so many of my teammates at times will come to me and be like, you know, I just feel like I'm working myself into the ground. Like I'm doing everything all day long, but I want you to write down what you're doing. And I have them do that. What did you do today? Okay, well, 3 hours of that was complete waste of time. It wasn't income producing. You didn't message a single time. Okay, I'm just using these as examples, you guys. Like, you have to be accountable and you have to take ownership for what you're doing. So just make sure that, like, if you want to go to that next level, but you're wrestling, because here's the thing, like, we wrestle with things like our mindset, and then we wrestle with things like the actual work. And we can do the work all day long, right? But if our mindset is not where it needs to be, then none of this work matters. Okay? I want you guys to remember that. You can do the work all day long, but it's not going to matter if you have this negative mindset of like, well, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, but it's just not working. Here's the thing. You will have seasons in your business where you are legit doing every single thing that you are supposed to be doing and you still will not sign. As long as you know in your heart and you are keeping track and you are being consistent and you are doing everything that you are supposed to be doing every single day, and you have potentials lined up out the door, even if they're not responding to you, even if they're, being flaky, even if they've committed to a date and then they don't sign. If you have potentials and people that you are talking to, they will harvest. I had a girl join my team just this week who has watched me for 3 years. She was a friend of mine, like an actual friend of mine. She legit watched me for 3 years. We talked one other time. We talked when I first started this business and she was 100% out, not for her, never going to happen, will not do it. But for 3 years, she has watched me be consistent. For 3 years, she has watched me turn into a completely different person. She has watched me grow, and she has watched me do things and dream. A huge part of my story that I left out, you guys, was actually what we've been able to do because of It Works. So not only did we, bring Brian home from hardwood floors, he got to flip a house. He got to, which he wants to flip so many more, but I'll tell you why he can't in a second. I'm like holding you back from your dreams and showing you no. So he got to flip a house, and I remember we had a conversation. It was like pouring down rain outside when we lived in Oregon. And Huntley was just like sleeping, and we were sitting there watching movies. And I was like, if we could do anything, like, cause we didn't have jobs. We don't have like work. We don't have to like go to a job. Right. I was like, if you could do anything, what would you want to do? And he was like, I want to travel the country in an RV. Like that's still my dream. Like, I want to do that. I've always wanted to do that. And we put a plan in place, and less than a year later, we rented out our house in Oregon, and we have been traveling the country for almost 6 months now. And we have the freedom to do this, like, from our phone. You guys, we're in Florida now. Like, we're all the way from Oregon in Florida here visiting our friends, and we're going to be here for green carpet next month. And that's what this business has done for us. So like, don't limit yourself, because if you would have asked me as a double diamond if we would have been able to do this, like, I would have been like, I don't know, because like I just don't feel like I could ever be at that point. Like, I don't feel worthy of standing next to VIPs. I don't feel worthy of making that kind of money. And then now, like, what's crazy is my mindset is so different that I see my paychecks now and I'm like, yep, and we're going up and we're going up and we're going up. You guys, like, we were announced as a top 48 team, like company wide. And in the, what is it? Like the last couple of months, like, you know how they're doing that top 20 retreat. Where are we going? What's the top 20 thing? Where are we going? Costa Rica. So the last, these 4 months, they're like the top 20 in these 4 months. So not the top 20 in the company, like of the whole year, but just in these 4 months, we were just announced as top 30. So our team is running for that top 20 so that we can go to that global retreat. And not only for us to go to that global retreat, you guys, but can you imagine like being able to tell your potentials and talk with your potentials, like, listen, we are a top 20 team. You have access to absolutely the best training possible. You have all, you know, you guys know what I'm saying? Like, this was not how I thought a year ago. I didn't think like this. I didn't look at our paychecks and think we can do so much more. We didn't think like that because we had to grow. You have to grow. And if you guys are thinking like, you know, I need $2,000 a month. Like, I have to have $2,000 a month. And if I don't get there, like, you know, the whole world's going to come crashing down. Like, I have to have $2,000 a month. Or like, how many books have you read this month then? Like, if you say none, then you're not worthy of that $2,000. I don't mean it like that. That sounds so terrible to say it like that. But you guys know what I'm saying. If you're not willing to pour into yourself, if you're not willing to grow, then you can't make that much money. Like you cannot expect to get more than what you have right now if you're not growing your mind. I would have stayed making $10,000 a month as a double, both of us as a double, which would have been totally fine, right? Would have been totally fine by me, right? But how long does that last? If your mindset is a constant, like, this is cool, I'm cool with this, like, I'm comfortable, like, we don't need any more, then it's eventually going to fall off, okay? Because you have no more fire. You have no more excitement. You have nothing that you're working towards. Okay, so now I can say with confidence that we're going to be a top 20 team because you better believe that we are worthy of a top 20 team. I know that this team is worthy of a top 20 team. And because I know that, I can lead them that way. I can lead them from the front. I can show them that we are all made for so much more than we think. So, you know, like I said, a year ago, that would not have been my thought process. A year ago, I would have been nervous to get on a Zoom and talk to people about unworthiness because I was sitting there posting on social media like everything's perfect, sitting down being like, I'm not worthy of this. I'm not, like, I don't belong here. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully this is making sense. I'm trying to read the comments really quick too. Sorry. So yeah, Haley, do you have anything that you wanted to like add in or any questions or anything? We have like 15 minutes left.
Yes. So I definitely wanted to ask you, because you talked about it so much, are there any specific books, podcasts, trainings that like really stand out to you when you were making that personal development a priority that helped you with the breakthrough?
Yes. So for me, I started watching all of the leaders that I envied. And I say envy because I wasn't in the right mind frame to look at them as inspiration. Instead, I was kind of like envious. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Have you ever compared yourself to somebody where you just kind of like not in like a total negative light, but you're just like, what, like, why can't I be like her? Like, why can't, like, have you ever felt that way? Yeah. So instead of like looking at it like that, I started looking at it as what's she doing? Because I'm going to do what she's doing. So one thing that I really started doing was I started watching these leaders that I was envious of. And I started looking at them like myself. I started looking at them and going, well, if she can do it, I can do it. So I'm going to do what she's doing. So that was one thing that I did. 2, I dove into my devotionals. I dove into prayer. I dove at you guys like kind of might think I'm crazy, but I'm going to share it with you anyways. I would have my charts out on my desk And I would literally lay my hands over my chart and I would pray over my chart every single night. I would say every single name on that chart. I would pray over each and every person. And I would, like, every single night, it was just something that I did with my team. Not like with my team on the Zoom, but like I did devotionals with my team every morning. And then I shared like a tip or what I was going through in my life and how I was overcoming it, because at that time I was going through the trial with my little brother. So there was a lot of things that I was super open about with my team that we kind of found like an outlet in each other. And I think really becoming more than just teammates. That's important. Really becoming more than just teammates and finding those people that finding out their whys and finding what matters to them so that you guys could connect in a better way. Because here's the thing, you can run by yourself all day long. You guys, like, you can build a diamond, you can build a double diamond, you can continue to build and build and build and build and build all day long. But when you get to build with people who have the fire that you have, and when you get to like have this group chat where you're just like, yes, I just signed an LC, 120 BV, what, like, and then the next person's like, I'm going to match you. And I did this and I did this. And when you guys just have like this fire of like excitement of, I just messaged 100 people, who's with me? Then they're going to message 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're working together and it feels like a team. It feels like you're actually a team and it's a team effort, and it doesn't feel like you're doing all the work by yourself. Now, I've also been in the spot where I didn't have a dang person working on my team. So if that's you right now, don't be discouraged by hearing like, oh yeah, cool. Like, who am I going to message? There's nobody on my team right now. Like, I totally get that. I've been there. When you're in that season of your business, run with yourself. Put your blinders on and run. New blood, new blood, new blood. Every single day, you need to be finding new people that want to run with you, you guys. Have you ever noticed that if you like, let's say you enroll like 3 people and you start working with them, and like over the next 3 months, they're doing really, really well because you're working closely with them and they're doing so well. And then like that 3rd month, they just kind of fall off. I always call it the 3-month itch. I have a video about this. It's like they're doing so well, and then like they get done with like their warm market, and now all of a sudden it's like, I don't know if this is working for me. Like, this isn't, like, they just lose that fire. That's because you have to continually keep enrolling. You don't stop enrolling new blood when you have 3 or 4 people taken off over here. Keep enrolling. Keep your head down. If you are bringing in those 3 to 5 people every single month, you will never run out of fire. You will always have at least one person that is ready to take off with you. I have had people straight up quit, don't want to do this, and come back and go double diamond within 3 months. No joke. I've had people that I didn't even enroll on my team come back and be like, hey, like, life was crazy, but I want to do this again, and go diamond in 30 days. Okay. So like, don't ever give up on somebody just because they're not working right now. Internalize that and really ask yourself, was there something that you could have done as a leader differently? Maybe you don't feel like a leader right now. Maybe you feel like you don't have enough to offer, or maybe you feel like, how could you be a leader when you don't even know how to enroll an LC right now? I've been there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you don't feel that way. Change that. Figure out what you need to do for you, and start enrolling and start working hard and start running with yourself. Okay. Lead from the front, and you will be so surprised who comes out of the woodwork, whether it's new blood or people who haven't been working but are watching you now. Okay. So don't ever give up on anybody. Don't ever think that like, okay, they're just done, but also know when to put your foot down and just keep enrolling. Okay. Never lose that. Like, if you can get that through your head right now, whether you're brand new or you're an ambassador diamond, if you can get through your head that you will never be done with new blood, you will never, ever have a team that will constantly work for the rest of your days, okay, then you will be like the next black diamond. Like, you have to know that you're never going to be done enrolling. And that shouldn't discourage you. That should actually be really exciting. That should be really, really exciting to you. That should be so unbelievably exciting that you know that you will always have new people entering your business. Okay, because you never know what one is going to take you to the top. And it's not all about the top. I don't mean it like that. What I mean is like, you never know which one needs this so bad. You never know when you're going to find your Haley who is struggling in a basement and needs this business so flippin' bad. And she's going to take your team to triple because she's going to go double in what you said, 8 months. Holy crap. I was still an executive. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, I hope that this is speaking to you guys. I hope that you are finding some sort of fire. I hope that it resonated with some of you. I know some of it was heavy, and I know some of it was a little bit of tough love, but that's just who I am. Like, I really don't know what else. I only operate on tough love. My poor team, they know this. But seriously, it starts with you. It starts with you. It's not about your team. When it comes to my team's not working, it's not about your team. Okay. It's about you. Get you right, get your mind right, and the rest will fall into place. And I'm sorry, I got so off track. You asked me what books, what other books that I would recommend.
Good, so it's totally okay.
I'm like all over the place. But there is one that I really, really liked, and really helps with getting out of your comfort zone, which is Get Over Your Damn Self by Romy N. I can't remember her last name. Somebody can put that in the chats. Get Over Your Damn Self. And then another one was All In by Mark Batterson. That's a really good one. All In is what that one's called. I'm trying to think. They're like all a blur. But a lot of what I was doing too is just devotionals on my iPhone. I have an app called The First Five, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, First Five. And every single morning, like, no matter what, I won't look at my messages. I won't look at anything, like, at all. I won't do any type of work, nothing. I don't even get out of my bed. I open the First Five app and I read that every single morning. So God gets the first 5, the first 10 minutes of my day. And obviously throughout the day too. But what I'm saying is just like, that is something that has really changed for me, because it helps me to start the day with a really good mindset, because there are times where my feet will hit the floor and everything is just complete chaos. And if I feel at peace before I get out of bed, it's something that like really sets the tone for my day. No matter if I have 100 messages on my phone or no messages on my phone, I just feel really accomplished, which for me, that's what I need in the morning. So that's something too. And then another thing, one thing that I think is worth mentioning, just because it's something that I've been doing all month and it's been working really, really well. I will be the first one to admit that recognition is something that I lack with my team. I'm a red through and through. So like I said, I'm like tough love all the way. So recognition is something that I don't give or understand, because I don't actually receive it well either. Like at all. Like I just don't. What the perfect example, I don't know if Ash is still on here. Ashley Ritchie, she's one of my best friends. Just the other day, we were sitting playing cards at her family dining room table, and her sister-in-law was there, and she was like so beside herself that we were traveling the country. Like, she's just like, so you guys, like, I just don't get this. Like, you guys are just traveling the country like full time. Like she just didn't get it. And Ashley's like, this is my friend Rachelle that I've been telling you about. Like, they're like, they're top 50 in the company. And she said those words. I don't even remember what else happened, but I got up from my seat, went into her pantry and started eating Oreos. That is a true story. Straight up, I was eating Oreos in her pantry. Like, I just don't want to be at the table right now, because like, I cannot handle recognition. Like, for me, I just like, it is not something that I need. So me sharing that with you is because I'm really bad at recognition with my team. So it's something that I have really been working on. So what I am doing every single night before I go to bed is I go to a report in my eSuite called downline orders. Okay. And every single enrollment order that I see on there, I click on and I see who enrolled it. And some of my team's going to be like, she reached out to me this month. That's what she's doing. Like, no, seriously, it's helped so much. I just reach out and tell them how proud I am of them. Like, I see them. And also it gets me really fired up to see how many people are flipping enrolling on this team. it gets me so fired up to just be so excited for them. And it holds me accountable in making sure that I'm always growing and pushing myself outside my comfort zone to make sure that I'm giving my team what they need. So that's something that I've really started. Like I said, it's just been this month, but I've noticed a huge change in my leadership. And I've noticed a huge change in how appreciative my team is of that too. So, there are things that we can own all day long and be like, that's just not for me. Like, that's just not my personality. But at the end of the day, being a leader is uncomfortable. Like, being a leader is going to push you past your limits, and you've got to be willing to take ownership and do the things that you need to do to make sure that you're the best leader possible. So, I made it all the way to presidential without doing like a single thank you to my team. That's wrong. Okay. That's just like whole nother level wrong. Right. And it's not because I do not absolutely love my team and that I'm not thankful for them. It's because I legit did not know how to give them recognition because I don't need it myself. So that's something that is a perfect example of growth, of what you really have to kind of look in the mirror and say, like, oh my gosh, if my team needs this, well, one, they definitely deserve it, right? They deserve it wholeheartedly. And I know a lot of my team is on here, so you guys know this. And you know that I appreciate you more than words, but I didn't know how to say it. And so I pushed myself outside of my comfort zone, and I got really uncomfortable with learning to be the best leader that I can be and the best Rachelle that I can be. And that goes for your relationships as well. That was something that like I've always struggled with Brian. And he is somebody that I wouldn't say he needs recognition, but what's your love language? It's physical touch. And the other one is affirmations. And so he needs like that, like, good job, honey. And like, oh, I see you. And like, I love, you know what I mean? He needs those affirmations. And that's something that I wasn't giving him. And so look around in like all aspects of your life too. It's not just business related. Like, we have to be growing as people every single day. And so ask yourself every night, like, am I being the best version of myself? What did I do today that grew me? What did I do today that actually made me a better person? So that's like something that I just really had to learn in order for me to get to that next level. If that makes sense. Can I have the charger? So Haley, do you have any other questions? I've like talked your guys' ear off for a whole hour.
No, I was literally taking notes. I have like 4 pages of notes because this was so stinking good. So I don't have any other questions, but I just want to say seriously, thank you so much. Like, this was incredible. I know it was amazing for me, and I'm sure so many people on both of our teams as well. So thank you for just taking an hour out of your night with us. And it was so good. And I'm just really excited to like implement all of these things and kind of reflect back on it. And I'm just really, really grateful for it. So thank you.
Of course. I'm so glad that we did this together. This was seriously so fun. And if you guys have any questions, like after this, I know you have the